Okay, how about that? Let me get the glasses off my head. Alan, you want to fix the camera?
What do I need to do?
See, I got here late, so we're doing everything we were supposed to do ahead of time. Turn it this way a little bit. There we go.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's good. So, yeah, we're doing everything that we were supposed to do before we went live.
For once, Chad's
Now.
not running late.
Yeah, man.
Bro.
It's not often that our acts don't run late or scare us at least.
Well, especially Chad.
Yeah, especially me.
Well, I'm learning that. I mean, now because he showed up on time, like way on time. Like that was
I
great.
started all over on my slate.
Well,
clean,
so
right?
so he played here last night, and I told him, knowing that he always runs late,
Yeah.
I told him to be here an hour early.
Yeah.
Nice, and he actually showed up an hour early.
About, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we had a show last night, so we'll have something to talk about. That's pretty cool.
And then me and him were working on some stuff, so we can talk about that.
Oh hell yeah, we got content this time.
Yeah, how about that?
Awesome. Well, welcome into episode 13 live sessions at the Underground, at the Park Hills Underground. It's presented by KL Media and Entertainment, and it is sponsored by Park Hills Underground and Park Hills Underground Radio, the internet 24/7 station. Check it out. Smoke Till Valhalla, Craigwood Shelter Insurance Agency, and the Artist United Network. You can go to our page or their pages and find out more about what they do and why you should check them out. So, today, Chad Steven Stafford, an hour early, more than on time, beat me here. I'm not going to lie, I completely lost track sitting there watching football for the first time in a long time.
It's one of them kind of Sundays, man. Yeah, I know. I put in a shift at the restaurant before I headed out, but yeah, we had a show last night here, the Pajama Jammies. What do we call it?
Pajama Jam.
I was gonna call it the Banana and Pajamas show.
The banana
Bananas
in
and
pajamas.
But yeah, we had a good little time. So I don't think I got home till like 12:30,
Yeah.
and then work at like 8 till 2, and then got here at 3. So I'm ready, man.
Man, he sounds like it. Bananas and pajamas. I need to. Steve Barnes. I know you're probably, if you're not watching now, shame on you, sir. But if you see it later, we got to work on this. Bananas and pajamas. There's a remix here. Let's do it. We can do this. So that would be kind of crazy because I actually found one that I want to play with. I know exactly what I'm going to do, and I'll even give it away here if anybody else wants to. But there's a dance remix. What was it? Something F. It's like an 80s track. The dun 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 dun, and then Peter Griffin does the
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
and another.
So good, I love it.
So I want to do that like right as it's building up because I was like, this has to happen. And so I'm working on that this week to make sure it happens. Just so I have it for when I need it in the next couple of weeks. But so it sounds like you've been busy. You've been working. You had a show last night, man. Like,
Man, I stay busy, dude. I got my 3 boys I take care of, so I got a little day job during the week, and then music on the weekends, and it goes pretty good. We're up at Festus, Crispy Edges.
Crispy Edges.
A little burger joint kind of up there.
Okay.
Kind of nice, but yeah, my boys, man. I got a 22-year-old and a 16-year-old and a 9-year-old, so I'm constantly needing to feed, and fill the refrigerator and feed them.
How old are you?
I just turned 40 this summer.
No shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm getting old, my friend.
Wow.
Well, I felt like it today at work. I tell you what, boss man looked at me. He goes, "You want to go a little early?" I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, you don't mind. That'd be fantastic. See, I thought I was 23 last night.
Yeah.
Now my knee hurts, my back hurts. I don't know where this bump came from.
Power slide.
Yeah. Yeah, that totally didn't happen last night, boss. I swear. We were all sitting down all night.
Oh, Lord. Put me in pajamas, and it got a little crazy. But we had some fun though.
Yeah, last night was a lot of fun.
So we had, multiple guests that were on the show previously, and now today a new one that was there last night.
So last night we had Donald Kincaid.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Eli's been on the show.
Yep.
Gabe's been on the show. Who else played last night?
Gabe was fun, boy.
Man, I love Gabe. He's just such a cool person.
Yeah. And Mike Gillum, but he's not been on the show, but he played Cajon. And then, there was a couple of guests that came up and sang, and
Yeah, this one guy out in the crowd.
Tim Carton ended up playing bass like the second half of the show. So
Yeah,
Okay.
I think his name was Tyler, I think, out of the crowd. Just wanted to sing Oasis, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And actually, it was phenomenal. Like, I was like...
you know what? Let's talk about Oasis, or more specifically, the fact that there's been like 3 rock and roll reunions in the last 2 weeks.
Big news, yeah.
Yeah, Oasis
Yeah.
got back together. That's huge because I never thought that was gonna happen.
A friend asked me if I was going to go see it, and I said maybe.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah, if they come to the U.S., absolutely.
I would, yeah.
Come on. Seriously?
I would.
Yeah.
Seriously, I snuck that one in there and nobody grabbed it.
What'd you say?
Wait, what?
Somebody asked me if I was going to go see him, and I said maybe.
Oh, I said maybe.
Yeah. So
I was showing my kid one of their songs, and he was like, man, they're kind of ripping off that one song. It goes, na, 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 na. I was like, yeah, it's the same guy, bro. That
It
song
is
just
those
sucks, kind of.
Yeah.
Wonderwall kind of, I think, was a little overplayed on our side of the...
Man,
the
I
ocean.
used to do that karaoke
Yeah.
all the time.
It may have
All the
burnt us-
time.
burnt them a little bit on the scene. But over there, apparently, they're even bigger, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so Oasis got back together, and that's cool. But kind of the bigger one for me this past week, Linkin Park
Linkin
got back
Park.
together.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Listen,
honestly
she's
enjoyed it.
incredible.
No, I honestly was like, I wanted to hate it. And I was
Yeah.
like, damn, this is pretty good. actually.
I
So-
want to not like this, and I
Yeah.
still do.
I was having this conversation with somebody the other day. Growing up, Linkin Park was like a very big band for
Yeah,
me.
dude.
Like that was it. That's what influenced my taste in music.
Yep.
And the
Them and Limp Bizkit.
well, I didn't have that problem, but
I enjoyed.
No, I do.
Limp-
I
when
do
they-
like
when
Limp
they first
Bizkit.
started. I really did enjoy Limp Bizkit.
Oh, yeah.
But-
Oh, yeah.
so and then Chester Bennington died, and I was like, well, they're never gonna get back together, and if they do, it's gonna suck,
Yeah,
right?
it was-
And then
Just start a new band and forget it.
right,
No.
and then now they're back with I think like 4 of the 6 original members, and it's like pretty damn good.
Yeah.
sounds really good.
Yeah.
I think the drummer is new. And
Yeah, the
and
new drummer and new singer. Yeah.
Hey, can you move his mic closer to
yeah,
him
no,
for
I
him?
can go-
No, we can make it more comfortable for you.
But yeah, and I really like the song. Actually.
Yeah.
like and even his like I would say there's times his rap was, it started to seem like he was limited in his skill at some point back in the day where
Yeah,
I
I could-
started to lose a little bit of credibility for him. I feel like he still has it. Honestly, I
Mm-hmm.
was listening to it like, damn, dude.
Talking about Shinoda?
Yeah, the dude rapping a little. Yeah, it still sounds good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'm happy it happened, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like I'm big on mental health. I just opened up a little bit more about that on Facebook. We can talk more mental health if we
100%,
want,
yeah,
but
100.
especially now this month, Suicide Awareness Month. I think the whole reunion announcement, everything was well thought out and done at the right time.
Mhm.
They gave the nation plenty of time to mourn.
Yep.
And
Yeah, I mean they were gone for like 7-8 years,
yeah,
something like that.
yeah. So there's no too soon to it.
No.
They're
And
not trying to fill his shoes.
right,
Well,
right. They're not
and
exactly. They're
so-
not trying to.
So I don't know if either of you guys watched the live stream. So they did like a live stream like concert when he came back, and Shinoda even goes, in the role of Chester Bennington is you guys talking to the crowd.
Yeah.
She's not replacing Chester.
Mhm.
She's just filling that role,
Right.
in a way, you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah, and I think they did it as respectfully as possible, as they could for Chester. And I'm not going to get into the personal side of the singer. It's can she perform, and is she up to the level that we expect Linkin Park to be?
Right.
and I
which-
think the answer is yes.
Yeah, then that's clear as
And
day.
as
what
far
rock
as the
and
whole
roll's about.
her whole personal business goes, I think that's just the internet being the internet and
Exactly.
far over exaggerating all of it.
Yeah, I haven't. I'm going to say this, and I think this needs to be a more standardized response to things.
Yeah.
I have not researched it enough to actually form an educated opinion and discuss it. So I'm just, from my point of view, is does she fit and does she perform as she should as an artist?
Exactly.
And
I
the
mean,
answer to me is yes.
We've all known somebody years ago that we don't want to know now, and if you bring up, I knew them. Now you're accountable for what they're doing now. Like,
Right.
come on, man.
I mean, if you want to go and you can find everybody did something stupid
exactly
at some point.
exactly.
Now, everybody just has the disadvantage of there being a 4K 600 times zoom camera in everybody's hand.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna get into the shit that could have got me canceled when I was in my 20s. Come on, we were all ignorant. We've all been ignorant. Let's slow up.
You ain't lying right there, buddy. But the fact is, the song is really good. I like it. Stands alone on its own, honestly.
Yeah, and there was actually another song that was released by guaranteed a future band for our future guest for our show, Con Cannon. Released their song. I don't remember the title. I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, I can't pronounce it.
It's on. I mean, if I'm gonna bring it up, I'm going to look it up. Because,
but yeah, so I know we've talked about them on the show before. Con Cannon, they're this band from Moberly, Missouri.
Yeah.
They're and they've played here a handful of times, but they're I think their lead singer's 13, their drummer's 14, and their bass player's 18.
Yeah.
So they're these three kids that are just insanely talented.
Mm-hmm.
And, they're like kind of grungy, I guess would be the accurate description of their music.
I would agree. The song is called Asthenia.
There you go.
And it what it means is like without power, or being powerless. And they were timing it to release in September with Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month.
Yes.
And there's so many people out there that don't feel like they have a voice because they haven't had one in their life. And like I don't share my story like looking for sympathy or anything like that. It's literally because I felt alone, and I didn't have somebody posting something that might get looked at, and I've already gotten validation off doing that in the last couple of days, and that's what it's all about, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So
we had the music. That's kind of where the only place you could go when you were so alone or pain, hurting so bad,
Yeah.
Mental health, I think that's where we find our people, because we're kind of finding a common ground of we're not alone in this pain. We're not, you know what I mean? We're not the only one going through this. And then you start sharing your story and hearing other people's story. And, man, I think that helped me get out of it, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know if it works for other people, but that helped me.
Yeah, it does. And you get out here and you're around other artists and stuff, and you hear through their original content, the emotion, you can tell that that's not just words to them. It's actual feelings, emotions that they're experiencing, and the best way they know how to handle it is to turn it into art for everybody else and for themselves.
Yeah.
So,
and it's crazy too, subconsciously as an artist. I think sometimes we filter ourselves a little bit, because we're trying to form it into a song. And there's some people that may have crossed that line, like Eminem comes to mind, like how his personal life did become clear as day as art, you know what I mean? And for all of us, we tend to mask it and put little fancy words on what we're feeling in, or different sentences, and it's not so directly tied to our personal lives. And I think for myself as an artist, sometimes I wave on that line, like, is talking about my personal stuff, am I using it for people, for people to listen, just to get attention or to make money off of it, or am I doing it for something honest? And I think that's why I avoided being so open with my own mental health for years. You know what I mean? Because you're embarrassed, first of all, of it makes you look like you're weak, or something like that. But also, I think it came with uncomfortable advice. And when you're not really looking for advice, you know what I mean? And people tend to just all of a sudden open up to giving you you should do this and you should do that spiel, So I think music is a line that I've tried to like find a way to express it and put it all out there. But I don't know. I'm still, as an artist, trying to figure out what that line is, And I was just talking about how Eminem or somebody like, or even Taylor Swift for a different perspective, has put her personal life into the songs. You know what I mean?
Right. And I mean, I think it's all about being genuine, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And what does that mean to you? Like, Eminem is just so unique in so many different ways and for so many different reasons. But, he didn't have to he couldn't afford to worry about somebody else's opinion. He was gonna get it out there, and his experience and his art and what he does is a freaking true art form that not many people can do.
I know.
Like he'll say the same one thing and it means three different things, and if you play it back, like, damn, man, incredible. Yeah. But yeah, he had to push it. He had to push that envelope. He had to be unique because some white guy in hip hop doesn't happen, right?
and cycle back to the mental health issue. I think Eminem was right there dealing with his through the music, and maybe collectively we all as fans of music, we're kind of vicariously living through their lives, but connecting with all that, you know what I mean? And
right, because especially like at my age when Eminem first hit out, like the anger towards like parental units and stuff, like I was a teenager, and two, it is what it is. I'm not getting into my childhood or nothing like that, but it spoke, and then you could just hear that that's what he needed to do too. And sometimes it was over the top, but to me that's a coping mechanism. If you get all that anger out, and he made art out of it and made millions, but not everybody can do that. And ultimately I think it was a healthier way to go. Now granted that all the pills he was doing didn't help, but I ain't judging nobody on that shit, not one bit.
We've all had some fun in our day. I'm also grateful for not really dabbing in too many addictions. I've lost some great friends in that, so I don't know if anybody's listening who's dealing like not only with mental health but with addictions. I guide you away from that as whatever method you have to use. I mean, some people use faith, some people use exercise, some people focus on finding habits and stuff. I just really hope that if you are listening, you're considering other ways than just being upset all the time, man. Life's too short.
Yeah, if you need to talk to somebody, do it.
Please
change my life.
Anybody. Honestly, sometimes it helps to be a stranger. Reach out to somebody you don't even know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they don't know. They have no preconceptions of you. They can give you a little bit more of an open. I don't know why. Sometimes.
And therapy is a lot more affordable than you think.
Yes, it is.
And they can work around your schedule. You do it virtually, however you want to do it. Mm-hmm. It's always the better option. And then sometimes medication's needed, and if that's the case, I hope you can get access to that as well. But you find the right mix for you, and that's that keeps you here for the people that do love you, even though if you don't feel loved at the time. It's tough, man. It's heavy, and that's why I'm glad we can talk about it. We got this platform to do it. So.
Exactly. Yep.
But you've been a busy man over the last 24 hours working. Kids, you got to, feed, keep them alive and all that. They're like Tamagotchi pets that you just can't get rid of, right?
Man, it's crazy because I started, about 20 years ago, and we had the Napster thing going on. LimeWire, I think, was another thing.
Oh, God.
So
LimeWire was where you got all your diseases.
Yeah, LimeWire, yeah. And as a musician, I just
I
didn't want
diseases.
I didn't want to know
Thanks
part
for
of
clarifying.
it.
Yeah.
And I would try to play on this technology and have the hardest times, So I think for the last 20 years, and then there was such an absurd amount of pop culture going on. As an artist, I didn't want to be a part of it. You know what I mean? Like there was the anti-war scene against. Since 9/11, and there was just over opinions everywhere, and we've had so many opinions. And I think as a musician, I decided to disappear and just perform sporadically and not put anything for anybody to be concrete, because I guess I was scared of being concrete. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to be what was at that moment. And I was just telling dude, I'm freaking 40. You know what I mean? And this is how old I am, okay?
37 right here, bud. I feel you.
I'm at work, okay? And I'm talking about Forrest Gump. I'm quoting lines, and they're like, what is that? And this is what they said.
Yes.
Is that a national park?
Forrest
What?
Gump.
Is Forrest Gump a national park? And I was like, oh, I'm that age now. Where
Kids, let's take a trip to Forrest Gump National Park.
Yeah, dude. I'm
Get
that
some
age
shrimp.
now where shit I know means nothing to
Yeah.
me, you know what I mean?
No, it is terrible when you do that. You're like, why don't you get this? They're like, I'm 20.
Oh, Saved by the Bell. They didn't know that.
Easy,
I
Kyle.
was like, what?
Some of us are 20.
Yeah, and you still don't understand some of the shit I'm talking about.
But have you guys also found that age is not always concrete in knowledge or experience? Like,
Yeah, no.
No,
you
absolutely
meet some younger
not.
people, they're like the old soul kind of expression. You know,
right.
Yeah. And I know some older people that are dumber than
dumber and
shit.
Some of them running the country. Sorry.
We don't do
I'm
that
just- I'm
here.
just
We
joking.
don't do that
I'm
here.
just joking.
No.
I love everybody. I love everybody.
I'll shut this shit down now.
No, I love everybody.
Anyway,
So how was the show last night? Like, what was your favorite part of the show for you as an artist and as, just
Well,
viewing other artists while you're up here?
it was kind of different for me because, as he knows, I show up overdressed, slicked back hair, you know what I mean, looking like I'm, James Brown or Elvis kind of days. I wear a suit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I dance and sweat all over the stage. Well, they had it set up. We were just chilling and sitting back, and I didn't realize we were going to be, I don't know these guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We didn't go over what songs we were going to play or anything. And it actually, for a moment that should have been uncomfortable, those fellers, they were very smooth. We found a vibe right off the bat. I mean, we messed up here and there, and we can come back around.
that's what makes those kind of shows fun, though.
Yeah, and I think it wasn't like we were trying to be like ego-filled or like play all of our own songs or like even play songs that are like specifically designed for the audience to enjoy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were kind of just playing songs we liked and having fun. And then, like I said, a guy in the crowd, Tyler, I think his name was, got up and sung Oasis with me, and it was amazing.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? And then what's that girl's name?
Isabel.
Isabel got up and sang "I Love You" by Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish, yeah.
And
Oh,
dude,
incredible.
she has.
Y'all got any videos of this stuff from last night?
I think somebody.
Surely somebody does.
I mean-
had to have got-
Her mom, Christy, might. If Christy has it, I'll
Okay, because I've got some, I got some traction right now on the old Facebook.
This girl has a beautiful voice, and I would love to record with her too. Like
Yeah.
she's just amazing. What a sweet girl. But yeah, it was
We could probably make that happen.
Well,
off
and-
the cuff.
yeah.
And we did it. It was a fun night. So I really appreciate being on here, and I always tell them being a part of what's going on here. To be, like I said, 20 years ago, whenever music was mainly owned by the local blues and southern rock bands, and they were not like a community that you could join. It was kind of like, we don't like new music kind of thing. And I don't blame them, because at the time there was a lot of shit music. Honestly, if you think about it, like we had a lot of crappy music. But I don't know, there's something like maybe the last 10 years, 5 years in particular, just a lot of good new music coming out. But also old music is more interesting again to people. People are really searching into the old soul or into the old pop, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Beatles put out a new song. Did you see that? The AI created
Yeah.
it? Did you hear that?
Oh my God.
And it was
Well,
actually
so-
pretty good.
Yeah.
It was John Lennon's last recording that he had done for Paul. He left it a tape saying for Paul, and Yoko gave it to him as like a peace offering one moment apparently. And so it was real scratchy, and it had his instrument and his vocals together, and they couldn't finish it because of the recording was so raw. But apparently they used AI to pull out the static parts and everything like that and complete it, and then add Paul McCartney. Oh, and then George Harrison had already done some guitar licks back in the 90s before he passed. So actually, it was pretty good, dude. It was kind of
I'll have to
emotional.
hear
So
this.
I-
It was kind
I'll
of
have to hear
emotional,
this.
dude.
This is probably going to get me killed. I've never been a very big Beatles
A
fan.
lot of people aren't.
I really don't like them.
No, I get that. My boss actually, one of my.
I'm not a huge fan either.
But
Just
I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, a lot of people are in different spectrums and frequencies at different times in their life.
Yeah.
now I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, they're terrible, they're trash. You're like, they're good.
Yeah, they got great.
They're
stuff.
great.
Yeah.
And for what I mean, pioneers. Like,
yeah.
damn. And I love hearing like Chicago house dance remixes of
Well,
them. But
it's
Yeah.
kind of like when you've been a fan, you almost start to feel like you've known them since they were kids, and that you've grown up with them. And I wasn't even around during that period, but just watching the old clips, I feel like I grew up with the Beatles. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And then John Lennon's gone. So and then to put this back together emotionally, it was kind of sad. I don't know if you ever get a chance to listen to it, but not being a fan, it may not have the same impact. You know what I mean? That's why it's kind of same if somebody's not a Linkin Park fan. They might have a different
That's fair.
opinion on this.
That's definitely
Yeah.
fair.
You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that when it comes down to it, they're bashing the talent, or it's just sometimes frequency, man. It's something just doesn't vibe with you.
Yeah, like I've asked multiple people why they don't like Eminem. I'm going to go back to him as a
Lots
reference.
of people don't.
And there's just I don't like the way his voice comes off. It has nothing to do with his content. I just don't like the way his voice comes off and hits my ear.
Don't. Yeah,
I'm
some
like,
people don't.
okay, I can see that.
Yep.
And it just is what it is. Not everybody's
Me,
going to like
huge
everybody.
fan.
Yeah,
Huge fan.
yeah, absolutely,
You know,
huge.
Probably, whenever they show you what your top listening things is at the end of the year. I was Eminem, Metallica, or it's just like, yes.
My last two, it's been a back and forth between Post Malone and MGK.
Oh yeah, and
This year it's gonna be Post freaking Malone after that
He
freaking
keeps
30-track album
Yeah,
drop,
he's
dude. That was fire.
he's a song maker, man. I also seen him perform. He did like a tribute to Elvis at Graceland, and it was really cool. And he did "Devil in Disguise." And when he gets on covers sometimes, and there was also the Nirvana. Did you see him? He did like a bunch of Nirvana songs. Sometimes he makes covers.
Wasn't
amazing, man.
Wasn't that him and Travis Barker?
Yeah,
that
was amazing.
Yeah.
Dude.
No,
and you know,
Post,
and you know what?
He's phenomenal.
They did all those Nirvana songs, but they didn't do "Smells Like Teen Spirit," which is exactly what Kurt would have wanted.
Damn right. Yeah, he's good. I seen him live actually too. I took my kids to see Post Malone, and he was amazing. He even did a Bob Dylan song. Speaking of that, after this, I'm gonna go watch Bob Dylan and Willie Nelson and John Mellon. What's his name now?
Mellencamp?
Yeah, it used to be Cougar Mellencamp at one point.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
my eldest son is named after Elvis and Bob Dylan.
Okay.
Because, mind you, around 9/11, whenever everybody was freaking out about
Everything.
I went into college. I tried to learn everything I could, and I was smoking. And I just found music. I found all this stuff, man. And that was around the time whenever I discovered the Beatles, and it's like there was like a couple songs that just spoke to that moment, Then the same with Bob Dylan and. Actually, even Bruce Springsteen, who now is semi-popular, but at the time was really hated on. I started finding some of his folky tracks. I just really dug the depression in them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then Eminem started crushing out, and then Kanye was crushing it. It was just such a weird time in music 20 years ago. So here I am, 40, like just so grateful that there's great new music and that old music is still appreciated. And we're talking about mental health. Like, this is a great time where I think maybe 20 years ago, if you were dropped into that time from this time, you would vastly see the difference of harshness on the way things were. You know what I mean? Bullying was much worse, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Like at certain points, I'm pretty sure it was egged on by teachers.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, now they're dealing with probably the extent of mass, on the internet type of bullying, which is probably
it's a whole nother level,
totally different.
man.
Yeah.
But
Like kids keep finding new up ways to torture each other.
Yeah, in person they really keep to themselves. Because I graduated high school a couple years ago, so I kind of know what it's like now. Kids nowadays, they just kind of keep to themselves in person, right? And I mean, most people, have their few friends that they hang out with, but then online, it's a whole other realm.
Yeah, everybody's trying to not do real work. But here's the problem: to not do real work, you have to do real work. Like, there's no way around it. You can't just, I'm going to be an influencer.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong. People get fucking lucky.
They do.
I'm not going to say that,
Don't do that, but
right. But that's the exception to the rule. The rule is you have not seen the 60 hours they're putting in behind the constant posting, all this blah, 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 blah.
It's an actual grind. It's massively exhausting.
It is the exact equivalent. If you're doing it right, it is the exact equivalent of launching a business because you are launching a brand. And it is not easy to do.
And we live in the day and age where everybody can do it.
Everybody has the
Doesn't mean they're
potential
doing
to
it
do
good,
it.
but
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of messages. How do you do that? Well, but if I don't have time to answer that.
Yeah, all knowledge is accessible at this point. Where if you feel like you need to ask somebody else for knowledge, like do you realize there's Google?
It's like you see,
It's
like I'm not trying to be rude, but
you go on Reddit and you see these posts of people asking the stupidest questions. It's like you could have Googled that and gotten an answer way faster.
Right. But there's a guy on one of the Discord channels I'm on. he refuses to Google anything. And so every link we send back says, let me Google that for you. And then.
And it's the search,
Yeah.
Real quick, we got a
yeah.
comment. Brandy Crisco, she says, just wanted to say hi, guys. I'm in Festus and wasn't sure where to eat, so thanks to Chad for the mention. I'm at Crispy Edges.
Nice.
Oh, Chris Jacobs and Mr. Nelson, my bearded brothers. There you go. I brought somebody in for you.
Hey, right there. You're already gaining from the podcast.
I'm sure she's enjoying it. That place is all handmade.
Yeah, I need to come up there sometime.
Burgers with the Italian twist on a lot of the sandwiches.
That sounds great.
Oh man, it's very.
We are accepting new sponsorships too. Like that plug right there is pretty good.
It's not a bad idea.
First one's free, okay?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, but yeah, I put in the grind, man, and for years I just decided to play live, and I think like I was saying, as an artist, I was scared to put it out there. You're worried about getting your song stolen. You're worried about the comments that are going to be. You're worried about, am I going to be, am I going to like these songs? Is anybody else going to, So here it is, I'm 40, and my kids are, I got a 22-year-old and a 16-year-old and a 9-year-old, and I'm still doing it. I'm doing shows every week. Last year I did 247 shows.
Wow.
Dude, it's a grind, you know what I mean? Sometimes you get $1, sometimes you get $1.50, 200, 250, and then you start doing good. You learn enough songs. You're doing 4 or 5 hours a night to cover songs, and me not being a talented musician, it's like just slamming jam on chords, you know what I mean? And singing my heart out and dancing around and trying to win the crowd over. And I was just telling Alan, maybe for the first time in my life, I started kind of slowing down. I'm like, oh, I should probably plan what I'm doing at this point and put music out and not just play a show every single day of my life.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can just do that, but if you want to take time to write your own stuff and have it out there, you got to make cuts somewhere, and you're definitely not going to be making it any more cuts from your family than you already are.
Yeah, it's a fact. And these songs would just pour out of me, and it was almost like insanity. They were little ghosts following me around. If I didn't sing them, I would almost forget them, or they wanted attention, and then I could only fit so many on my shoulders. It felt like, you know what I mean? Like, how many songs could I remember that I'm writing, and I'm trying to use this technology to record it. And I think I just had a mental breakdown. I don't know if there's any artists listening that understand this. And I'm like arranging songs differently, and people are trying to join the band. And like, no, we're not doing the bridge there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I just went crazy. I just decided to start playing other people's music, which I was against 20 years ago. I was like, no way. So instead of actually really learning the songs, not like I didn't want to, I haven't had the time to sit down and become a great musician. Musicians are freaking amazing. They spend hours and hours and hours a day becoming great musicians. You know what I mean? I wasn't able to do that. I had my kids shitting on me half the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, here's information or advice. If you want to pursue a career like this, don't have kids early.
Well,
or at all.
Honestly, if there's two advantages. I was young and I was able to keep up with the kids. So but also if I would put music out then, I'm kind of grateful. I was kind of thinking about this. I wasn't very good at waiting for things to be solid or for sure. My emotions were just coming out. And now I think a lot of people are used to that. But I think we need more due process. Meaning, wait a minute. Don't just say exactly what you're feeling right now. Think from other people's perspectives. Kind of sit on it, and if you still feel like it tomorrow, then maybe blow up on Twitter and cuss out everybody. You know what I mean?
Well, and that goes back to what I was saying
or
earlier.
X or whatever it is.
It goes back to what I was saying earlier. The internet isn't real.
Yeah.
Everything you're reading on the internet, all these people pouring out their emotions, that are, bashing the new Linkin Park singer because she may believe this thing or may have supported this person.
Ridiculous.
It's like, none of that is real. Mm-hmm. Form your own thoughts, form your own opinions, and realize that nobody cares.
And if you are a musician who, like myself, is feeling overwhelmed with your schedule, like I was, the kids are crying, you're trying to do college, your parents are telling you to figure shit out, you're trying to do something out there in life, or maybe you get to your 20s and you got locked down in a crazy hard job and you're tired as hell and you just want to have a beer every once in a while, or maybe you're one of those people who are in love with somebody and you're just going back and forth with them all the time. Just remember, this is just one part in your life. Wait a little bit longer, wait a couple years, get through it, find habits, and little hobbies to get you through it, because I shouldn't be here. You know what I mean? I've just seen enough to realize that what I went through should have hurt me, and it did, but I didn't allow it because I acknowledged things that made me feel better. You know what I mean? And maybe that's what you got to do. Just it's like that me time kind of vibe. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I like this. This music vibes with me today. I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna take a nap today. You know what I mean? I'm gonna quit this fucking job and find another one. You know? So here I am, 40, finally doing what I want, and I'm gonna try to get an album out by the end of the year, and just kind of start spreading out a little more instead of just I've been stuck in the Jefferson County and St. John area, which honestly, I wouldn't be thinking about playing original songs anymore. I probably would have dusted them off the shelf. But playing these shows, and they're so unorganized that sometimes, and the crowd is just in a roller coaster with me, seeing me trying to like remember lyrics and trying to fumble. I'm up there just stumbling, man, and going through it, but like rock spirit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they would allow me to play originals every once in a while, and people would listen and say the most honest things, and that's like we're talking about the internet not being real. There are great people out there that don't even use the internet, and you just as a musician go out there and find a crowd, play for 5 people. You're gonna get that one compliment that doesn't feel like they just said it because they needed to. They're gonna say something specific or genuine, and that's what got me through, and that's probably why I'm still deciding to write songs at 40 years old. You know what I mean? And so just be that person that walks up to the musician and says, I really like the bridge to that song. You know what I mean? Like,
Last fall, I made a random Facebook post like, hey, I'm looking for somebody to play this show. You answered it. You came and played your first show here. Now you've played probably damn near 10 shows here, right? And, the first few, there wasn't a great crowd. These last couple, it's been better. And, but each one of these shows, you've made connections with people.
Exactly.
You've met people that you wouldn't have never met otherwise.
Yeah. And if you're a musician who thinks that's not part of the job, believe me, it's not a job. It's part of the healing because you've already isolated yourself enough, or you've overdone yourself and been fake enough, and you're constantly put on this happy. You can go out and talk about how you're not feeling good with the crowd because they're feeling it too. And I have the best conversations with people all over the world. That's why I love working in the restaurant business too, because, everybody's got their little food dance, their little happy dance when they have a nice meal, But I just love interaction, and I think that's why I'm still around. So believe it or not, you feel like shit, and being in front of people makes you feel like shit. You push through that, and you find these little moments, these little nuggets of just great advice from people, little old ladies that, you know what I mean? Yeah. I love it. So that's why I'm here, and it's my mom's birthday. Speaking of little old ladies. Today.
Oh, it's your mom's birthday today.
My mom's birthday, and her request was she's got a basement she wants cleaned out and organized, so I'll be doing that for her. I'll be staying up late tonight.
That's right.
I don't know if you guys got a mom out there, or dad, or a grandparent, or stepmother, or whoever you care for. I think I got caught up in putting expectations on them as a teenager because the world was falling apart, and I wanted my parents to have their shit together. You know what I mean? I was upset with them like not being champions against the world, or not protesting when I was upset, or not having a fucking boat when I wanted to go on a vacation. You know what I mean? And then I become a parent, and I grow up, and they're the only ones there for me. A lot of your friends they're so busy in their own times anyways.
Yeah, they've all got their own kids and their own families.
My
and
mom
their own parents
especially has dedicated her life to me and my kids, and I've never seen anybody work that hard, and we were talking about previous generations earlier and how things were different. I think we were lucky to see some of the previous generations before us because they showed us how to really work beyond what was expected, like to the point of insanity, but at the same time we also learned what not to do.
Yeah.
Speaking about mental health, and that's why me and my mom, we get in each other's faces sometime and try to change each other. And now I learned that all I want to do is make her feel better, and all she wants to do is make me feel better. And we want to just take care of the kids. So that's part of healing, I think, is just accepting that you're a dickhead sometimes, and let it in, man. Tell people what you say, but be okay with understanding that you've been an asshole in your life.
Yeah.
And so, Mom, I'm sorry. I've been an asshole many times.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah. My mama Tanya.
Definitely appreciate your son being here. Yeah. Good dude. Man.
Speaking of me and my mom's up and downs, I don't know. There was moments in life where you're just like, by yourself trying to write songs as a musician, and maybe just to get away from the noise or the expectations of life, you know. And I think I figured this song out. Okay.
I was say you sounds like it, and you're ready to go. And
He just segued right into it
yeah,
himself.
it was perfect because we are at that time to start thinking about the performance.
Yeah.
So
Well, this song I wrote years ago, man. I think it was before I moved to Cleveland. I remember I was in a bathroom one time and I was just like, you know, I did little pieces and I record it, and then you go on with your life. And I remember just haunting me, so I start playing it live. And I've told him how arrangements have always been weird without having a soundboard, like a person to say this or an audience to feel this. So you kind of like arrange your songs differently throughout the years. I think that's why I also never put anything out. So I think I may finish the song today.
Okay. Well, before we get going, you've got 2 for us today?
Yeah.
Okay. And as customary, before we get to the performance, thank everybody for hanging out with us here on Live Sessions of the Underground. This is episode 13 with Chad Steven Stafford. So I want to say thank you to our sponsors, KL Media and Entertainment, for presenting the show, and sponsors Park Hills Underground Radio, Craig Wood Shelter Insurance Agency, Artist United Network, and Smoke Till Valhalla. We couldn't be doing this and upgrading our studio like we have been without y'all. Thank you so very much. And with that, take it away, bud.
At first you are high, next moment low. Oh, oh. Time keeps going by, so very slow. Oh, oh. I don't know where you are. No, I don't know where you are. And then it hit me, you don't know either. And then it struck me, we're not the same at all. We're not the same at all. This street I drive down is not on my way, yet it's so familiar. It's just one of those days. I know where you are. Yeah, I know where you are. Out of my head, yeah, out of my heart. I can't take his memory, you torn apart. You're out of this place, you're anywhere but here. I can't take his memory of where we used to love. I can't take his memory of where we used to love. It feels like you won, you taking somebody's home. It feels like you won, you taking somebody's love. It feels like you won. It feels like you, it feels like you won. It feels like you, it feels like you won. It feels like you, it feels like you won. It feels like you, it feels like you won. You taking somebody's home, you taking somebody's love, you taking somebody's heart, you taking somebody's love, you taking somebody's home. You flipped it right upside down, you taking somebody's love. You ripped it right out the chest. You taking somebody's home. You taking somebody's love. You taking somebody's home. You taking somebody's love. You taking somebody's home. You taking somebody's heart. You feeling like you feel like you won. 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 taking somebody's home. You feel like you won. You're taking somebody's love. You feel like you won. You're feeling like you. You feel like you won. You're feeling like you. You feel like you won. You're feeling like you. You feel like you won. You're feeling like you. At first you are high, and next moment low. It was just a bunch of parts that were slammed together at some point in my life, you know what I mean? And it came out that way. And then it hit me, is what I think I'm going to call that. And so the next song, I think we'll do a little slower one. This one's for my mama. She would know the love it's been, and since Dylan was born, I wrote this song in the hospital. I started it years ago. I think I finished it also this year, so maybe I got some songs I can put out finally. And it goes, I swear that I won't run away. I swear that I won't run away and find a place to settle down without you. I found some friends who didn't even know just why I'm sitting here without you. Some friends who didn't even know I'm without you. So won't you always be, to me you'll always be, me you'll always stay. Won't you always be, to me you'll always be, me you'll always stay. I swear that I won't run away. I swear that I won't run away and find a place to settle down without you. I'm without you. So won't you always be, to me you'll always be, me you'll always stay. Won't you always be, to me you'll always be, me you'll always stay. Won't you always be, to me you'll always be, me you'll always stay. Won't you always be, to me you'll always be, me you'll always stay. My pretty baby, my pretty baby, my pretty baby, my pretty baby. I swear that I won't run away without you.
Hell yeah. Loved it.
Mama.
Both of them are great, but that second one I absolutely loved.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Chad Steven Stafford.
Yep.
Thank y'all.
So yeah, I guess we can talk about this now.
Yeah.
Me and Chad have been recording together.
Yeah.
So we did a recording session, I don't know, a few weeks ago. Kind of came in, did some rough demo recording type thing.
As usual, I had guitar issues. And
Yeah, it
amp
took us about an
issues
hour to
just
you
to
know
figure out
what we were
And he's
doing.
like, you know what? Maybe just go trade everything in. I literally went and did that. I just got all new shit.
So the pawn shop down the street's got all kinds of new equipment.
But so yeah, you know, we did I think like 4 songs that I've been working on just to kind of get a rough idea of what where we're gonna go from here. And I think at the end of that, I basically told you
We got one keeper, I think.
yeah, we got one song that's pretty well done, but then the other 3, I was like, hey, finish these.
Right. These 2 today were closer to finish, and I think we're going to come in here soon and really lay out a perfect arrangement, get it. I tend to have a tempo issue. I jump around because I'm going through lyrics that I wrote and scribble scratched, for years, and I'm like, oh, what about that one part? Don't forget that little part, So my man right here, dude, like I don't have a lot of people who want to sit down and put the work in, but because a lot of times you want to write a song and it's done the way it is, and sometimes they're amazing that way. But there are songs that just need a little tightening up, and I'm so grateful for this guy to even offer that. So I think we should have something by
Hopefully,
by
I think
wintertime.
by the end of the year, hopefully we'll have
some good stuff. And I also
3
want
or
to
4
do a
songs.
collab thing. We also talked about maybe bringing a couple of the other local songwriters in.
Yeah.
And we so you got the open mic here. Is that
That's every Thursday.
Every Thursday.
Every Thursday. And I want a call to all musicians across the state. I need you to understand that great bands pass our state up because they think that nobody here likes music. They go to California, they go to New York, and that's where the festivals are for the most part. I see something building here. I really do. And I've been a part of it one other time for sure when I was in Cleveland. And a lot of these musicians have gone on and done just great things in their lives. They're still doing it. Some of them put it up. But to see something from the root up, and I truly think that this Missouri State collectively should send the word out to your school band, have them come here and perform, your local songwriter, your uncle who wrote a song 20 years ago. Come here because you're going to find your people. You'd be surprised. There's every type of, there's metal, there's rappers down here. We got lots of hip hop, collective types of hip hop too. Pop, the whole outlaw outlaw folk scene that's going on right now.
Yeah,
huge around here. I'm loving it, and those guys are all genuine and honest too. So it's kind of like instead of just going to your niche of concerts like you used to have to, this is a place where you can almost be a part of every one of the. Back in the day we used to play hacky sack, and the prep would even come over once in a while with the skater boy, and we'd fucking play hacky sack a little bit. You know what I mean? I feel like this is the hacky spot. This is the spot, bro. Come here and hang out with all different types of people.
Oh yeah, there's so many different types of people you can get. Like the open mic on Thursdays that we're talking about is free to everybody.
Yeah,
and you can come in watch 10 acts.
Yeah,
for free.
Well, so I see. I think you might have shared the post or commented on it or something. There was a post I saw going around recently on Facebook, and it was like, why? If you're doing this, it doesn't make you a bad person at all. But it's like, why spend $350 on concert tickets and go see some huge artist, right? Mm-hmm. When you can spend $5, $10, $15 at a place like this and see right in your face.
Yeah. And I think honestly, the big concert scene is scaring people away from even indulging
because
in
tickets
music.
have gotten so damn expensive,
and then you're massively collectively stuck in a big giant place. The traffic out of there,
and also a beer's $20,
right?
To see somebody and now that we have, like you said, social media, I'm getting old. I'm trying to use it, but the way that we can collectively share what's going on in every pocket and every corner in this state, we can make Missouri something that I don't think we've had. I mean, maybe since like the blues days, we had a lot of legendary blues singers and stuff like that from Missouri. We had a little bit of a scene throughout history. Why not now?
Well, and even too in this area, I've said this on this podcast. I'm sure I've said it on other podcasts. I've said it just in conversation with people. This area, St. Francis County, Madison County, St. John County, this area specifically, south of St. Louis, had a great music scene 15, 20 years ago.
Exactly.
Right? Yep. There was a ton of bands. And then all the venues shut down. There wasn't bands, and there weren't places to go see those bands.
Oh, yeah. The main streets all shut down.
And then it's partially because of this place opening, but also you're seeing this resurgence
there is
of
a
music
perfect
in
word.
this area.
Yeah.
We've had bands come in and play their very first shows on this stage, and now they're playing at Pops, they're playing at Red Flag, they played Point Fest. You know,
I don't know if the venues collectively, if it was just this place. I feel like Missouri is doing something amazing. And if you're not even from Missouri and you don't know what I'm talking, come check it out. You believe it or not, I've gone to so many honky tonks and seen great musicians. And this place right here, I think, is a place for those type of musicians to truly collectively meet up with other musicians, to find their crowd, to actually interact with them, to have a design sound. The sound in here is amazing. You can have a metal band and hear them perfectly, and then you can just play your acoustic in here and hear them perfectly. You know, this place is amazing, and not only the staff is always friendly. So I truly think we have something special right here. Maybe there's a handful of places in the whole state like it, maybe none, honestly, but with similar collective spots where other musicians are going to hang out. There's maybe like 5 in the state, and I think if we can all communicate and start sharing gigs and places to jam, we could really turn Missouri back into something. I really think so. And I'm just grateful to be here. Thank you guys for having me. I know I talked my fucking head off. I had a lot.
Your mom said thank you.
My mom said thank you. Mom, I had a lot of coffee. Saved me. I'm probably going to drink some more when I get home. But, yeah, it's great to be a part of seeing young people start their music career, but also kind of like when Jelly Roll got up there and did his speech, you know, the 39-year-old who won the Best New Artist. It actually did speak to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
that speech, I would follow that man into war.
I understand, dude. And I don't know.
It's going to be at a very slow pace.
So I'm just so grateful to be in this time, and I think we all should take a moment and really understand that there's good music out there. Go support it. Don't expect that it's just that they're being taken care of. Musicians are having a hard time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They had to work their butt off to make $1. But you can go see them and just have a nice little beer or, you know, a sandwich or whatever at these places and really experience something that I think the history books will one day talk about again. Like the way Bob Dylan was when he started, or, you know, the way music is becoming a national voice for empathy and human condition. I feel like music has finally stepped up to that level again, like our bands was when we were young.
You know, I would agree. You know, the last 4 years post-COVID, you know, people are, you know, just exhausted.
Yeah.
You know, I guess is a way of putting it. You know, and it all kind of circles back to the mental health thing.
It does.
And
Collectively as a nation, yeah.
And physical health as well. But, you know, it's just people are just tired of the bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, and music is the one common thing that people can enjoy.
It's
that in World of Warcraft.
You ain't lying.
I've been playing that way too much on the new expansion. Way too much.
It's just a great time right now. I really think we can come together right now and see our lives mean something. You know, so when we look back, we did something when we were here. You know what I mean? We joined together with the artists and the movements that are out there. I'm just so happy to be here.
Yeah, well, that's a very powerful sentiment, and we appreciate it, and the underground appreciates it, and this is something unique for sure. And there's a lot of room to grow, and there's plenty of opportunities for people to be here, watch a show, and in time go, I saw those guys in Park Hills before they made it.
And if you're a musician, come and collaborate with them. You know what I mean? You know, or no, just watch and see how they're doing their little niche of sound.
You know, like you said, Chad. You know, you and I are working on these 4 or 5 songs that we're gonna hopefully have out by the end of the year. But after that, you know, I think you and I are gonna work on like collaborating with people and bringing other people in and recording with them and, you know, doing all this stuff.
I would love to see a moment where there's it's like in a history book where you look at this time period. All these musicians lived in the same area or in the same state or whatever, and decided to cross paths. You know, and I just want to see what happens. So, calling all musicians, I am here out challenging you. Let's write songs together. Let's do covers together. Let's have a good time, and most importantly, get the emotion put through the sound so that the listener and the people who are maybe going through what we went through can maybe get through it, or also we can get through it, you know, at the same time. You know what I mean? Let's share each other's vibes. So Thank you for having me, guys. I'm sorry. I drink too much coffee.
Story of my life, man. Every day.
Yeah.
But that's it, man. Episode 13 is in the books. Chad Steven Stafford here. Thank you. And Alan, thank you for everything you're doing. We'll have to rip the audio from the video because
somebody forgot to hit record, but
somebody forgot to put the thing back in there, the card.
Oh, well, that would have also been you, but
We'll be back. I'd love to be back sometime, and just thank you guys for having me.
Well, we might have something a little bit later on in the year we can talk about.
Good. Sounds good.
So thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you again to our sponsors, KL Media and Entertainment, Park Hills Underground Radio, Smoketail Valhalla, Craigwood Shelter Insurance Agency, and the Artist United Network. I got through it and didn't need the cheat sheet. How about that?
Smoke to Valhalla?
Yeah, Smoketail Valhalla.
That's my new phrase right there. I like that.
No, they're a shop that has happiness devices and incense and crystals.
That's a great name.
they're right here in Ludington off of the
I'll check them out on the way
Right
out.
off of 67. I don't know if they're open today.
Not today. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll check them out soon. You know, I'm on my way to a concert. You know, Willie Nelson.
Yeah, they do a lot for us
great.
on the show, and for other things and events that we do around the community. They're definitely an upstanding business.
I want to thank all those sponsors. I'm not gonna be able to list them, but I want to thank.
Neither
them
can
also,
he.
you know,
So.
And sometimes I struggle. I really do. I forgot my name once. Like, I forgot my company. It's like,
Oh, I forget my lyrics. He knows.
It's okay. So does Justin.
Yeah.
It's okay. We love you, Justin.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks again. You guys have a good one and enjoy the first NFL Sunday that we've had all year. Adios.